Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today is not the usual tea time. Today is live time, right? We're hanging out today with Stewart Wood. Once again, it is Friday. We've been doing these, I guess, end of week, kind of weekend reviews. And it's been a lot of fun. A lot of you guys have been enjoying it. And what we're doing is we take the topics at hand for Monday through Friday and we will just discuss them. Hang out and just shoot it, so to speak. And it is like an ask us anything. So anything goes pretty much on this live stream. But before we get Stewart on here, I just want to say that if you have not downloaded my ebook as of yet, go pick it up over at JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. 10 tips of making tax sharp images. Go grab it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. So, Stewart, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. It is another week. I don't even know how a whole week has gone by. Today is such a relaxing day for me because it's been crazy, absolutely hectic all week long. How about for you over there?
Yeah. I've been busy, very busy.
No complaints over there. I know you have been...
I got so much stuff to do that it's just like, just sitting there now, just picking which one do I do now? Which one do I do next? Which one do we do on Monday?
Right. Yeah, it gets to be a lot. I know. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. The Canon EOS GH5 Mark II. All right. I didn't make a mistake. And we'll get into that in just a second, why we call it that. Also, we're going to get into Sony, what they're doing with their F-mount, DSLRs and whatnot. And we have Fujifilm stuff. There's a lot of things going on. Canon. So to kind of start things off, I just want to say that coming soon, you will see me, instead of here, you will see me over on Stewart's channel. So he has been for the last week rebuilding or creating a brand new computer. So his old potato, as he calls it, is basically being made into mash. And he now has a new system, right? So you know what? Tell us just a little bit about what you did with this new system. How is it working out for you? Because I know you've been putting in countless dozens of hours working at it. So how's it going?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It really is. I mean, I've gone from a 8-year-old i7 4770K to the AMD Ryzen 9 5950X 16-core monster. I mean, everything I throw at it so far, it's just chewed it up and spat it out. It really has. I did a test stream once I built it, and I was streaming out at 1440p at 5000 bit rate. And I was editing video at the same time as streaming and not one drop frame. So it's exactly what I needed to push the
That's unbelievable.
even further, you know?
That is unbelievable.
I want to get people on here like yourself. I want to get them on here. But more importantly, I want to do more live editing videos. So I couldn't do it on the previous system because the second you try editing anything, it just lagged out. I mean, you saw the hour live I did when I started on the live and it just lagged out. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
None of that now, because this thing is it's an absolute beast of a machine now. It really is. It calls sweet potato as well.
Yeah, it's your sweet potato. I like that. You know, there's something to be said of when you're a content creator, and you have a really good system that doesn't prevent you from being creative. There's just something to be said about that. It's just, you can do whatever you want to do, whatever your heart's desire is. Only, your imagination is the limit. So when I went from an older Mac and decided to build a PC, I ended up going with the same type of CPU, AMD, as you did. Mine is older, it's a 7, but it was like night and day. I was able to edit 4K and just with a breeze, just do whatever I wanted to do, multiple, applications at the same time without it becoming sluggish. Also, when the catalogs, this was just when I was getting away from, and I broke the cord with Adobe and said, you know what, we're going to delete all of Adobe software at that time. Adobe was running like complete crap because they become really large, the catalogs inside of the software, because it's just made it's just horrible. But it was going so slow. And then once I moved it into the PC, just before deleting it all, it was like just, wow, it was able to just do it without too much of a problem. It was still laggy because, of course, it's Adobe, but it was a lot better. So, but that's good. Congratulations on the new system. That is really, really cool.
And it's the little things that make the difference. Like,
absolutely,
on my old system, once I've done an edit, I'd have to pre-render it to view it back. Or when you press the space bar, your video stops playing. Whereas on the old system, it'd take 1 or 2 seconds. So you couldn't see a gap in the talking, press space bar, because it'd go a little bit further, and then you'd have to pull it back and things like that. And when I first fired up Premiere and started editing, I actually had screen tearing in the preview monitor, in the preview window. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I've got 2 monitors. So I have Premiere's open and all the timelines on one monitor, and then I've got a preview window on my second monitor.
Right.
And if anyone doesn't know what screen tearing is, it's when your video card's putting out more frames than what your monitor can physically display. And I was actually getting screen tearing on 4K video playback. And I was like, my God, I actually got to go and turn on VSync to fix it.
Right.
In case anyone doesn't know what it is, VSync is basically, right, if your video card is pumping out more frames than your monitor can handle, you get like tearing. It's like you're seeing half of a frame and half of another frame because it can't keep up. Now, I'm using BenQ monitors, and they're at 60 hertz. So if your frame rate goes above 60 frames a second, you get the screen tearing. So VSync is when you go in there and you literally tell the software to go, hey, software, this cheap-ass person here can't afford decent monitors, cap the frame rate at 60 frames a second, yeah? I couldn't believe I had to do that. I really couldn't. I've never seen screen tearing in Premiere before.
Oh, yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, no, it's definitely a good system for sure. I'm surprised how far AMD has come, because I remember, 20 years, 15 years ago, AMD and Intel, there was no comparison. Everyone wanted an Intel. And now it's like really close. And in certain situations, the AMD actually does better. So, but anyways, let's get into a little bit of the camera stuff. Now, we called the brand new Panasonic, the Canon EOS GH5 Mark II. And the reason being is because I did a couple of videos on this, and at the very beginning, when Nakashita released a tweet that talked about the specs, I put it out to you guys immediately. The next day, we got the actual full release of the, let's say, pre-release or rumored release, whatever, the release that shouldn't be out there, but we got that of all of the specs in the Panasonic GH5 Mark II. And literally at that time, I said, this is like an iteration. It's not an innovation. There's nothing new here. Very little. Some things that they did was actually going backwards. They went to a 3-inch screen instead of a 3.2-inch screen. There was other things. Now, they added a little bit on video. They did allow you to power the unit through USB instead of having to have like a dummy battery in there. So there was some niceties also, but there were so few. And I was like, wow, this sounds just like what Canon did, not would have done, but actually did with the Canon EOS M series, the M50, when they came out with the M50 Mark II, and the thing was like the same camera, just with like a firmware update. I mean, they didn't do anything. And that's what it looks like Panasonic did here with their brand new Micro Four Thirds. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah. So the problem with it is we already know that there's not enough change for people to upgrade from the first one to the Mark II. But is there enough change for people who haven't got one to actually buy the Mark II over a second-hand Mark I? I mean, what would you do? Would you go for a second-hand first gen, or would you go for the new one?
I mean, as it stands right now, for what I see, I think that I would let the camera get released so that the Mark I's would drop another $200-300, and then pick up a GH5 for $600-700 and call it a day. Because at that point you could literally buy two. Let me see if I can bring this up over on B&H while we're kind of chit-chatting here a little bit. Let me bring this up because I do think that it is, and we went over this, I think it was earlier before we even came on. I think it's not cheap. I don't think it's cheap at all. Let me see here. Let me flip us over here. We'll put us on there. That works. Let's see. Let's see. I think that it is about 1,300, I want to say. The Panasonic GH5. Let me see here. Almost positive.
The old one or the brand new one?
This is the old one. Brand new one hasn't been announced yet. So, but here's the old one. So $1,297.99, and they have $300 off right now. Okay, so I mean $300 off. So looking at $1,300 for just the body, and then if we come down here, if we want to get the body with like a lens with the standard kit lens, which is their 12 to 60. Well, it's $2,000. I mean, that's with the $300 off. Normally it's like $2,239 or something. Right now it's $1,939. I mean, let's just call it $2,000. I think this is where they're going to have a hard time. And that's just my personal opinion. I want to know what all you guys think in the comments or in the chat. How will a company justify to their clients or potential customers $2,000 for a micro four thirds camera with a kit lens when people can buy APS-C, like on a Fujifilm, or all the way up to a full frame on both Nikon as well as Canon for a lower cost with a kit lens? And that is a full frame sensor. And moving forward, you have full frame glass, and then you could constantly move up. Let's say if you went with a Canon or even with a Nikon, doesn't really matter. Or you could even get a Sony, like an A7 Mark II or something for that $2,000. You know, so I'm just, for me, I think that it's very hard. Now, a lot of people will say, well, micro four thirds is better for macro stuff. It's better for some birding, just to really get that extension out there, right? That telephoto, cheap and small, lightweight type of thing. But I don't know. I want to know what everyone's thoughts are. I want to know your thoughts too. What do you think?
Oh, well, if we're talking buying the camera and you haven't got the gear, you know, it's hearsay or their say, so Marmite, or you either love it or you hate it. The problem we've got is you're going from the Mark 1 to the Mark 2 with hardly any changes that would justify you upgrading it. And then you've also got the rumours of the GH6 as well. I mean, do you wait and see if those rumours pan out? I mean...
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, did they fix the autofocus?
No, it's exactly.
If they fixed the autofocus, then we'd be sitting here going, whoa, yeah, all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, then it would be...
There's nothing really fixed, is there?
I was saying in the video that I made, there's nothing to be seen here. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. I said it over and over and over. It was literally the same sensor, the same EVF, the same everything. I mean, like I said, they introduced a little bit more on the video side, but they had to. I mean, we're in 2021.
It's like the Canon 700D all over again, man.
Yeah, they just it's just a
from the 650D to the 700D. The only difference you had was you had an embossed dial on top. That was it.
Yeah, great.
You know, it's just like,
I don't know. It was almost and what I was getting comments on those two videos that I did, a lot of it was, well, they need to put something out there and there's not a lot of product. When I say product, I'm saying components, ICs and actual components out there because of the whole COVID thing and yada, 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 right? And if that was the case, it would be smart, or it would behoove Panasonic to wait, right? Don't put out something that's half baked, like I said. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think that it makes sense to me, but you know, hey,
do you know anyone from Panasonic we can ask?
You know, I knew a couple of very, you know, when I worked with when I did the Digital Photography Cafe show for 8 years, we did interviews with all of the CEOs, all of the upper echelons, and I know we spoke to a few of the upper end USA executives here at PhotoPlus Expo as well as at WPPI. And I mean, I'll be nice about it. They have an arrogance about them, and they don't want to hear like what you have to say. I'm being polite. Okay.
Maybe.
There's
Maybe it could be my infection talking, but maybe they've put this out because they wanted to delay the GH6 because they're working on autofocus. It's just not quite ready yet, so they put out a GH5 Mark II just to go, oh, here's a new camera for 2021, and then 2022 they go, bang, there you go, here's a GH5, GH6, just 4K 120 with autofocus.
Right, and I would say that I think that you're right, at least halfway. I think that yes, they put this out here because they almost they had to, in their mind, in the mind's eye. But I can see a GH6 coming in 2022, but I see it more as a 30 megapixel, 33 meg, whatever it is, the cutoff to be able to get 8K. I see them doing that. And definitely nothing with autofocus. If they did autofocus, I'd literally I'll get salt, pepper, I'll eat my hat. It just, I know these people, I've talked to them.
Let's just remember that part.
Remember that.
If they fix the autofocus, you'll eat your hat.
No, if they actually put phase detect on there, so you have like every other freaking camera company out there where you have contrast detect as well as phase detect, so you can actually lock into a subject and stay locked on. Don't get it twisted though, but some people be like their autofocus is great. Their autofocus is just fine in good lighting situations, and if you're pulling stills out of it, it will lock the focus where you point it. But when you go into any type of video type thing, and we know all cameras are hybrids, number one. Number two, Panasonic pushes their cameras to videographers as much, if not more, than to photographers. And it's an awesome camera. But the problem is you get this pulsating thing. All of a sudden it's focusing on the back, focusing on the front, can't find, the subject, loses the subject. It's just a hot ass mess.
Basically a 2017 Sony camera.
But it's true. That's true. A lot of people, they don't remember back then when Sony AF was complete garbage. But I can tell you for firsthand, it was horrid. It was absolutely horrid. Now it's great. Matter of fact, the camera that I'm recording on right now or shooting on is a Sony camera. So, they've come a long way. And I feel like Sony has been doing a lot when it comes to the internals and getting it right. And focusing on getting certain things right. And the thing that they focus a lot on is on their autofocus. I wish they would focus as much on ergo, and I wish they would focus as much on color. And I think we would have something, because to me, the body, it still feels like a elongated, cigarette pack, let's say. It doesn't have the, ergo as like, for example, a Nikon or a Canon, in my personal opinion. I'm a Canon shooter, but don't call me a fanboy because I'm not. I'll call them out on everything that they do.
And I've never actually held a Panasonic, because whenever we was at the photography show, we always just walked past the Panasonic stand.
God.
No.
That's god awful.
That was before I went pro. So obviously, if these shows come back, we can go and have a look at the Panasonic stand, and then moan at them about their autofocus. Same as we'll go to the Tamron stand and say, you let me crap, change my mind.
Yeah. Or you can go to the Tamron stand and actually show them your potted plant that you have. That you use their lens to create that potted plant. I love it. Let me see. CC Photography says, I like my Panasonic 4K TV. Yes.
I've got a Panasonic 4K TV. It's awesome. It really is great.
And and one of the guys was arguing with me in the comments, and every once in a while you get these people, and they were talking about how much Panasonic made in comparison to Canon and all this stuff. And the thing that they don't understand is the majority of money that they made during that period of time was in batteries. Okay, so people don't ever dig deep into stuff, and they're just like face value. It's like they make a lot of product in comparison to like Canon. Canon does photography, they do imaging, they do medical, that's their thing. They do some printers and stuff. But, Panasonic does like a refrigerator, and they do a microwave, and they'll do like a TV, and they'll do batteries and all kinds of other crap, So yeah, they have a lot of stuff in their stable. But I mean, I can tell you one thing. Oh, what do you got there?
It's not going
Come
to
on,
focus.
focus.
Panasonic Endo Loop batteries.
So
Best batteries I've ever used for a flash. They're absolutely awesome. They really are.
So guys, I can second that. The end loop. I'm going to see if I can find them on here. Since I'm sitting in here on B&H anyways. Let me see what they are right now, because they are absolutely by far the best batteries that I have ever used. And look at this, #1 seller. Let me switch over so you guys can see the screen here. You see this, guys? So these batteries, if any of you need a set of AA's for your flash, like Stewart just said, I have done extensive, exhaustive battery testing, and I have videos back because I got 500 videos on the channel, right? If you go back, you'll find some testing that I did. I've tested every battery. I mean, a ton of AA batteries. These are by far the best batteries out there. Hands down, period. They last longer. The number of shots you can get out of them is higher. It doesn't even matter about the milliamp hours. They're still better than equally rated milliamp hour batteries. They're just hands down the best. #1. #2,
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I did a Zoom meeting with a camera club, and they was asking me about handheld macro photography when it comes to my images.
Right.
And I said the handheld focus stacked, and I photograph using the continuous shooting. And they called me out saying that it's impossible to do it. So if you have endo loop batteries in your flash and set it to minimum, that flash will keep up with the 20 frames a second on the R5.
It sure will. Yeah. People don't know that. I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad that you brought that up. The other thing is that I've been shooting for decades, right? So all of my batteries, every battery that I buy, when I buy them in a pack, they stay together. So my batteries don't get just thrown into a box and then they get charged haphazardly. No. So if I buy a pack of batteries today, I will write the date on each one of the batteries, right? And then if I bought multiple batteries in the same day, I'll divide them in packs of 4, in sets of 4. And those sets, they only get charged together. They never get broken apart. Why is that? The reason is because if you get a battery that you bought 2 years ago, and then you get a battery that you just bought, they're going to be at a different level, let's say, of exhaustion, how long it takes for them to be out of charge. So if you keep them together, you know that your batteries are going to dissipate at the exact same rate, and you're going to get better results in doing it. I should do a whole video on this, but I did so much, just
get these little boxes off Amazon.
Oh my God!
Batteries in there. You can stick a label on there. I bought all mine at the same time, and I'll be honest with you, that was very early on my YouTube career. I didn't write down when I bought them.
Yes.
But if you're in a situation like me where I've got 12 batteries, 12 Panasonic endo loop batteries, right? If you buy the first pack you buy the one with the Panasonic smart charger in the pack. That smart charger will tell you when you've got a dud battery, because it will flash and give you a warning to say, this battery's no good, throw it away, buy another pack. You can buy a pack of 4 for £10. But if you're really cheap, you can get one of these. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Come here.
Come on, jump in.
He's not going to focus because he's on oil.
Just cover up your eyes.
One of these.
Just cover up your eyes. Should be good. There you go.
That there is an endo loop battery in disguise. Wow. So this is actually from IKEA. So IKEA do the same batteries as endo loop. In fact, I think CC commented they're actually made in the same factory. These are 2,450 milliamp batteries. Mm-hmm. 4 of them cost £5.
Wow.
From IKEA.
That is so cheap.
You know, if you're not a pro going out flashing all the time, or you'd like you just go out, say, once or twice a week, and you want to save a bit of dollar on some batteries, go to the IKEA website, get yourself 4 of those. Make sure you get the high capacity ones, though, because they do I think it's an 800 milliamp battery. Obviously, you don't want that. But I go with the Endo Loop Pros.
The Pros are 25.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't noticed no difference. I've hardly noticed no difference between them. Apart from one's black and one's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So that's a tip for you. So if you want to save a bit of dollar, you can go.
So you hang out. You hang out with us a little bit. We give you some a little tidbits, some tricks and tips. I mean, I literally have some end loops that are from they have written on them 2008. So what are we on now? 18 to be 10. So we're at 13 years old, and they're still working. Which is amazing to me, because you can take any of the other batteries and they're all dead.
I had an Endo Loop battery fail on me last year, so that's 2010, and it was bought in 2007.
Okay, well there you go.
So 13 years. You can't moan at that, man. Plus the fact they came free with my flash anyway, so.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
In fact, that's actually how I found them, because I mean, when you start photography, as in any hobby, you don't know jack about it. And I bought a flash, and it had these batteries in it. I'm like, well, okay, I got some free batteries. They're awesome. And then I was like, I put them in the flash like 6 months later, and they were still charged. I'm like, why? How are these batteries still charged? Because I didn't understand that the Panasonic Endo Loops, they hold their charge over time. Whereas the standard AA rechargeable batteries from, I don't know, Curry's or wherever you go shopping,
right,
they lose their charge over time. So with these, such as this set here that have been in my drawer, they've been in my drawer about 6 months. I can bang those into a flash and they'll still work because they won't lose their charge.
That's great. No, it is. They work out awesome. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit is during the week, I covered some things about Sony. Number one was the F mount is gone on Sony, as well as they were discontinuing all DSLRs, so there's no more DSLRs from Sony. Some people, they didn't even realize that Sony even made DSLRs. They're like, Joe, they make DSLRs? What are you talking about? Yeah, there's a lot of people that still shoot Sony DSLRs, and they like them, and they like their old lenses.
I've got a funny story about that,
Go ahead.
When you first start photography, you get brainwashed. And you've also got that whole thing of you've got to justify your purchase. Now, I went on my honeymoon. So we're talking, when did I get married? It was a while ago anyway. And I was there with my Canon camera, and my uncle rocked up with a Sony digital SLR. And he's like, Sony's great. You should have bought a Sony. And I'm like, Sony's crap, man. Why the hell would you buy a Sony? They're not going to go anywhere.
Yep. That's it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but it's true though that I like that you say that with the whole justification, and that's why I've always, when I started this channel, my whole idea was I don't want to ever come across as a fanboy to any of the product that I use, and I will not justify the product if I purchased it, even if I screwed the pooch, and I bought this product that was a complete piece of crap. I'm going to tell you, it was crap. I made the wrong decision. I'm not going to justify it. And just like you're saying, that's exactly what ends up happening. People will go down the road that everyone is taking, and then when they get there, they're like, this really isn't that much better than what I had before. Yeah, it has a couple of bells and whistles more.
You're in a position to save people money.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because people might look at the same thing that you bought when you first started out. You found out it was utter crap. So you're in a position to save people money. Say, don't buy this, just skip it. It's like now, whenever people go to me, what macro lens should I get? Lower 2 times. Don't bother with the others. Just go straight for the lower, because eventually every macro photographer goes to manual focus. So you're not going to miss the autofocus. The image stabilization that Canon keeps touting on about really doesn't help you in macro anyway. So you just go straight for the lower lens all the time. I go for image quality over anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
And, so saving people money.
Yeah, and that
as well when they turn around and go, you just saved me like £500 by doing there you go.
Yeah, it makes me feel good when people say, I've got something out of the videos, or I've gotten something out of the channel, or whatever, because at least it's like when you're sitting here doing this, you feel like you're contributing in some way. Let me flip over to my desktop again and bring us up. What I wanted to do.
While you do that, I'm going to change the battery in my camera so it don't switch off.
All right, go ahead and do that. Let me bring up Sony Alpha 6500. Now, Like I was telling you guys earlier, the 6300 obviously was discontinued a while back. Now, as of this week, they discontinued this camera, which is the 6500. And as you can see here, if we go over to B&H, it says Sony Alpha 6500 has been discontinued. May we suggest the Sony Alpha 6600 as a possible replacement? So here is the Sony Alpha 6600 at $1,400, and that's without a lens. And then if we come down here, we'll find it with a lens if we scroll down here a bit. But the idea here is they ended up going away from the whole 63 and the 6500 because they had so many of these cameras. They originally, I think it was as of last year or whatever, they had like 6. It was like this Alpha 6000, 6100, 6300, 6400, 65, 66. There were this a ton of these things. And people will always say, Joe, which one do I buy? I want to get one of these Sony Alphas, like one of their, and APS-C. And it's like, you have to explain because each one of the cameras have slight nuances different, but not that big of a difference. So you really have to know what you're looking for in the camera to pick up the right one. And it doesn't matter what size the number is. So it's not like a 6000 is worse than a 6600. Well, it is, but it's not really about the numbers. It's about what goes into it and what you need. Well, they decided to discontinue, like I said, the 6500. Now you can only get the 6600, but they're saying a new one is rumored to come out. And this new one is, you can call it a 6900 is what I guessed it would be called. But this one supposedly is going to have like the 4K, 60p, like 32 megapixels and a whole bunch of different things in there that makes it even better, more like a Sony A7C or something. So it's something to look forward to. And I guess round robining about this is, I think less is more when it comes to these cameras. You don't need 6 APS-C cameras, but the one thing, and we talked about this in the past, the one thing that I think Sony has got it right, and I think the other manufacturers should do the same thing, and I'll say what it is in just a second, is that they're using that single mount, the E mount. So the F mount is gone, right? They're using an E mount for both APS-C and full frame. Why is that fantastic? Well, that means that you can get them in the door at, let's say, $1,300 for your APS-C version, but they're going to use the exact same glass if they go and upgrade to a $2,000-$3,000 full frame version of your camera. And that was one of the things that we talked about in the last show, I believe, that I think Canon, for example, should do the exact same thing. Canon should come out with an EOS R7, which would be a 7D replacement APS-C sensor, but using an RF mount. So this way you can get people in the door. APS-C is a little bit cheaper, right? And then people like you that are macro photographers and the birders and the wildlife people and all these people will just love it because now you get the extra reach of the APS-C compared to, right?
Are still holding on to their 7D Mark IIs, waiting for an R7.
Yes.
You know, the second Canon drops an R7, their profit margin is going to go up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Because
I believe it. I really do.
R7. And for it to be successful, forget about megapixels, forget about 8K video and all that jazz. For it to be successful, you need a fast EVF with no lag time on it and no blackout when you're doing continuous shooting. Because obviously you want to be tracking a bird across the sky. You know, with the earlier version, I'm not too sure about the R5. Apparently the R5 is pretty good. But the early version, like the R, for instance, you'd lose tracking on the bird because you're getting this blackout and the EVF slightly lags behind.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So if they can nail that, like I said, forget the resolution, forget all that. You just want reliability. Usability, weather sealing.
I agree. I agree. That is paramount.
I'll be first in line to buy it.
But money, of course. I also think that they cannot go and create another whole new mount for mirrorless APS-C and go down this road of
not do that.
You can't. 20 new lenses. It would be a waste of money.
It has to be.
It has to be. I see Andrea says here, I got my secondhand M50 Mark I for £250. And that is pretty good. That's pretty cheap. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And that was the thing that we talked about earlier too, was what's nice about the M series.
As well.
Yeah, and that's with the 55-200, I think he says here. And that's, let me see. Yeah. So, but what's nice is if you want, you can get an EF mount, an EF to M mount, and now buy EF glass, even L glass, high-end pro glass, and then later on, if you want to go from an M series to, down the road to something else, you can. Right now, they do not have, I don't believe so at least, a M series to RF, only M series to EF. But like we talked about many times, Canon has about the damn best adapter that goes from EF to RF on the market. And that comes with the, that slide in, you can slide in polarization, slide in ND filters and all that kind of stuff that makes it really, really nice. And you don't lose anything. You're not losing any light and you're not losing any autofocus. You're not losing anything using that adapter besides the little bit extra size of the flange because you're adding an adapter. That's about it. So it's something, there's something to be said.
Flawlessly. I've had absolutely no issues with the adapters.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You can't even tell they're on there. Honestly, you can't tell they're on there.
Because they work that good. I know.
And if you go with the control ring as well, you get to add that extra control ring to your EF glass as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, it's true. So I guess next week we're going to try and do a photo critique, but on your channel, right? And I think that's going to be Thursday. Is that what we're going to do?
Most likely it'll be Thursday, but if people subscribe and watch both of us on social media, we'll put out a notice as to when it's actually going to happen. But most likely Thursday at 5 o'clock UK time, which is 12 o'clock your time, if I remember right.
Yeah, 12 o'clock. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be good. I know I've been getting people that want to do like photo critiques, send in their photos and whatnot. I did a couple of contests last year. They turned out really, really great. And I did them based on holidays, based on different things, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I like to be able to take a look at people's work, and then obviously we're not like the all be all type of people that say this is how you do it. We'll give suggestions of what we think.
Wow, man, I don't know if you've watched any of my critiques. I give out advice just to improve the photos, but half the time I bring up a photo. And one such user is Chris. He'll know if he watches who I'm on about. Yeah. But he puts images in. I just sit and I go, wow,
these are beautiful.
On that one, it's so good that just leave it as it is, But on a side note, while we're talking about that, when I put out the notice, I'll put out the usual link to the Google Docs form that I use where they upload the images. But because Joe will be joining me on the critique, it's not going to be just macro photography. So you can put in your landscapes, your portraits. Obviously, I'll critique the macro shots when they pop up. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be able to do other types of photography when we do this. So, like I said, most likely Thursday. Yeah,
that's exciting. I'm into it. I can't wait to be able to be on your show. So that'll be really cool. That'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Working first.
Better put some time into it. Put some time. Let me see. Thomas Lloyd says, when is the video side of photography overtake the photo side of cameras? You said that cameras are essentially hybrids, so I'm curious about that. Yes, I've said that for years now, that photography and videography are one and the same for many years, all the way back to about I guess the beginnings of the 5D Mark II, when Canon introduced a full frame camera that actually captured good enough video to be able to be used for TV.
And half the people said, "What are you putting video on that thing for?" And then within a week, people were putting videos on YouTube that looked cinematic, and you're
sick, absolutely sick.
And you're like, that is just sick. That is really sick.
Right. Yeah. So ever since then, camera manufacturers have had to put out cameras that were not only hybrid, but their video had to excel over other people's video, because all too often now, even if you're looking for a photography-based camera, most of the reviews that you get will be like, oh, it doesn't have 4K. Whereas someone that's shooting photos are be like, yeah, but no one gives a crap. But a lot of people do. And like I said, it's because of this hybrid nature. Everything is a hybrid now. You could not.
I give a crap. I'm one of the people that gives a crap.
Yeah,
For
me
instance,
too.
Right, you got to be on a flare. You go down, you snap a shot of it. Now I don't know about other cameras, but with this EOS R, you've got custom settings, features, okay, and you got 3 of them. And C3, whatever you assign to C3, is assigned to your record button when you're in photography mode. So I've got my high speed frame rate, so it's 60 frames a second. I say high speed, it's not exactly high speed these days, but I've got HD at 60 frames a second assigned to that custom feature. So when I'm in photography mode and there's a B, I can snap it, and it being a mirrorless camera, I instantly see the picture in the viewfinder. So I can go, have another focus, yes, hit the record button, and then I'm recording footage as well, which can be used as B-roll in my videos.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it's great for doing things like that.
So the other side of this whole video to photo thing, I think that the idea that photo is different than video will be a moot point at a not too distant future. And when I say that, it really has to do with the speed of the processing, the speed of the shutter, the speed, how fast it can capture. Because right now we're using rolling shutters. As soon as we move on to a global shutter, and if you don't know what a global shutter is, instead of capturing the video in a cross pattern, right? Scanning basically across the sensor. What it does is it captures like this, each frame, every single pixel at the same time. So there's no jello effect, there's no rolling shutter. When we get to that point and we have a global shutter and we're able to capture, let's say 30 frames per second, okay, 60 frames per second, you could basically roll video and then later on after the fact be able to pull out 4K or maybe even 8K, whatever you can do at the time. Global shutters are going to be small at first, but let's just say 4K images, you can pull out all of that video that will be tack sharp because there's no movement. Remember, you're capturing it like this, right? In comparison to scanning. So you're not getting any of that jello effect. You're not getting any of that blur, motion blur and whatnot. So we're going to get to a point where people are just going to roll video and then just pull out photo. Now Panasonic has done this for a long time. Their cameras, you're able to take a picture and it in the back end will shoot, let's say 50 pictures or 40 or whatever. And then later on you can go and select through them, which one do you want? So you can go forward or backward. But remember, that's still not as good as a still, image because you have less resolution when you do that. So once we do have a global shutter, then probably photo as we know it will be going away. That won't happen for at least 5, 6, 7 years. The reason being is the global shutters that come out, they're going to start out at about 12 megapixels, 15 megapixels max. If they can get a global shutter at 20, the thing is going to be blistering hot. It's going to melt into a pool of lava, just like the original, R5, right? When they came out with their issues. But the whole idea is tons of data. Imagine picking up all those pixels all in one shot like this. So that's where we're going to go with it. And like I said, hybrid is just the thing right now. Everything has to be hybrid. And if you have a camera that does really good at photo, but does absolute shites when it comes to video, no one will buy it because everyone on the YouTubes and everyone on the inter and outer webs and everyone will be just saying how much of a crap it is, even though it's actually a really good camera. So that's just the nature of the beast. That's where we're going. And all of these manufacturers know it. And that's why they have to put out really good video with their photo. Let me see. Questions. You got any more questions in there? Do you see some, Stewart? Let's see. Let me go down here. While you're looking at questions, I just wanted to also bring something up here. Some of you guys were asking me about, in the last video that I did, I was in the car and I was shifting, going on a whole day's basically event. It was just kind of crazy yesterday, but I did a little short piece from the car, but I was also telling you that I was working on that book. And it's almost done. You guys, I know I've been getting a lot of email in my inbox. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Because we want to be able to make this thing, and it's coming. So this, means, or this creating your own digital Fort Knox book that I'm writing is almost done. So you'll be seeing it very soon. I'm hoping to finish it by next week. So we'll see what happens. Any questions there? Do you see some questions?
Not really. Mostly just commenting on the video. A lot of people are saying how good looking I am and how you're looking really old.
Oh, that's the way I want it. That's good. I'm getting there. Let me see here. Andrew says we need to justify the purchase when new in photography. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we were talking about, how a lot of people have to justify their purchases just to say that they, have a something. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a car. They go and they buy the car, and even if it's junk, it's anything. And they have to justify the purchase because they're spending a lot of money on it by saying that it's the best, best thing since sliced bread, as I always say. That's not necessarily the case.
I did not forget to mute my phone.
Oh.
We had, listen, guys, we're having our restrictions lifted on Monday.
Oh God, I feel a rant is coming. Is there a rant?
There's been a few unfortunate deaths from a certain variant, and we had a Prime Minister's televised announcement at 5 o'clock. So I wanted to just check what it was in case they pushed back the dates, but they haven't. They've literally said that they're pushing forward the vaccine dates for over 50s. So.
Are they doing the same vaccine for kids too over there? What's the price break?
I think they're
what's
experimenting
the
on
age
kids
break
at the moment. It's like something out of a horror film. They're literally experimenting on them. They asked for volunteers.
Really? That's how they're doing it.
Yeah, but it's like I said, because obviously me and Joe we speak before we go live, and I said to him, I'm keeping my phone on because if they push back the date of when they're going to lift the restrictions, I'm going to go nuts live on air.
So,
well, it looks like it's okay, and I can carry on. I can go on holiday next weekend.
Yeah. So I'll not to get too. I don't want to get political here, but I mean, from the president, we got the rule is now simple: get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do. The choice is yours.
Yeah.
And this is from the White House, I guess. Their Twitter or whatever, they tweeted this out. So I live in a state of Florida, and here in Florida, our governor has been a proponent of getting businesses back up and running and getting rid of the masks and looking at the data based on the number of people that die in comparison to the number of people that are getting it. So he's opening things up, and there's people that are upset about it, and then there is about 100,000 people per month entering in the state from other states to get out of the states that aren't allowing anything to open to come here. Because we have better tax, we have basically an open state now and whatnot. So yeah, I could completely understand. There's a lot of been going on. I know here for us, I don't know how it is in the UK, but here it was like that. There was a 2-week period so we can get over the hump or whatever, and now we're at like 1 year, 5 months. So you guys take it for what you will. But yeah, I sympathize with you guys over there too, because there's a lot of people that are out of work and they just can't go to work, because of everything that's been going on, and they're just, there has to be an end somewhere. Where do you draw the the sand? Draw the line in the sand.
This new Indian variant that's coming over, then I don't know.
Right.
My question is, why didn't they just close the borders anyway? You know, just go, oh, everyone in India is dying from this new variant. Don't let anybody from India come into the country.
That's too easy.
I don't really want to get political or anything like that, but
yeah,
you know,
no, it's
but
it's
hopefully
kind of strange.
they'll get on top of it. You know, the vaccines are going over to India now, I believe, and so hopefully everything will start getting on top of it, start beating this thing.
Well, I'm gonna quote this just because what is this? The Karens and Kens. Thomas said. So I guess I'll just classify myself as a trans-vaxxer and a trans-masker because I don't want Karens and Kens to become. And it's funny. It really is. I mean, I don't know. I just, my parents. Okay, they're 85 years old and they got the Pfizer. And I'm glad that they did. So we can go and visit them. And whereas, the grandkids couldn't visit them for months and months and months and months. They can only see them on Skype. It's just, it's horrible. So, but, you kind of do what you want. But I think what's happening over here in the US is they're like with that tweet, they're trying to force people to do things, and that's where people are getting aggravated, not because they don't want to, but just because they're trying to be, they're being told what to do. So, but anyways, back into photography here. I just want to. I want to.
Topic there, didn't we?
Yeah, that's because of you and your what's going on in your country. I don't want to hear about it. We got our own crap over here. I'm kidding. So as far as the photo critique. If you guys want any of your work critiqued, are you going to be able to put up a link or something? I think that would be kind of good. Or they can always go and send it.
I can send you a link right now if you want.
Yeah, let's do that. And then what we can do also is you have a wall like I do on my Discord, correct? Where they can post photos. So what I'll do then, what we can do is just simply this. We'll give you a link to the Discord server over on Stewart's site, Stewart's Discord, and then my site also. And what you can do is just put photos, whichever one you're part of, or if you're part of both, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. But you can post those photos on either one, and then we'll just visit both walls. So I'll put mine and I'll put
can I
his up.
Add something in there though. If you really want some helpful critique, then make sure the Exif data is with the photo. Because if you post it without the Exif data, we can't see your shutter speed. We can't see what f-stop you've used. Okay. So I mean, I've had it on occasion where there's a great composition, but there's a slight blur on the photo. But without the Exif data, I couldn't tell the viewer increase your shutter speed or open up your aperture. I couldn't tell because I didn't see the information. So make sure you've got the Exif data in there if you want us to really critique that image.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's mission critical, because if not, then you don't know really what's going on at all. And then you really can't do a critique on it. So that's definitely helpful. And I would suggest also, if you guys haven't done this, I did a video about, don't even look at the way I looked back then, but it was like years ago. I did a video on how to add your copyright into your photos upon capture. And maybe I'll put a link somewhere in this, but definitely check that out. If you're not doing it already, you can set it up inside your camera so that the copyright, you can put it in there. So every time you take a photo, it bakes it into the raw data and it's on there permanently. So do that. If you haven't done that, a little tip and trick for you guys. It's really useful. I had actually someone that thanked me like 100 times because they lost their camera card, their little CF card, I think it was at the time. They lost it in an event, and people found it and they went into the image, and in that XF data, they had the name as well as their phone number and the name of their studio, and they actually called them, reached out, and was able to give them that CF card. So there's something to be said about that. You need to do it. If you haven't done it, go and do it. Open up your camera and look in your settings, and there'll be something in there for baking in
One of the
your
first things I do when I
data.
get a camera, hang it in there. bang your copyright information.
Absolutely. And this way you don't have to worry about it. There's so many people they'll ask me like, "Oh, how do you put your, copyright into the image?" Well, it should be there already. But if it's not, you can always go through any type of software to do it.
Imagine you get a second-hand camera, yeah? You snap a award-winning photo, and in the copyright is someone else's name because you haven't changed it over. Can you imagine that?
People do that.
As daft as it sounds, that person could claim that photo even though he didn't take it.
They could.
They could. Information on it.
Absolutely. It's definitely a possibility. So anyways, we're going to wrap this up in about, let's say, 5 minutes or so. Any other questions you guys have, definitely stick them in the chat.
Can you put in my Discord link in the chat? Because I can't put links in, I don't think.
Yep.
Unless, actually...
no, I got it. Yeah.
Could you make me an admin on your channel? I should be able to do it then.
It should be. Yeah, you should be. Well, let me see. Let me find you in here.
Did that work? Did it work?
It should. Hold on.
I thought no.
Let's see. Did that work? Try it.
Yours works. I can see that as a link. But mine
try it.
Seems like it just doesn't as a link, But
oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're set up on there correctly now, so it should. Yeah. Any other questions? Stick them in here. Let me see what else we got in here. All right. Did you get that link? Yeah, I put the link in there at the bottom. So this one link so if you want to get to mine, you can go to community.JCristina.com. If you want to go over to his, you can go to that discord.gg. Either way. There you go. Thomas joining Stewart's Discord now. Excellent. Good. So you got it. It's good. So people could go over there and they can add their photos. They can add, it doesn't really make a difference. We're not going to put any type of criteria on it. It's whatever you want. It could be macro. It could be any type of photo. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. Put that in there and then we can do like a little photo critique. We can put them up on the screen. We'll show what they look like. We'll give you obviously credit. You'll see it on the channel here.
It's completely up to you if you want to put in your watermark. So that it's seen. It's completely up to you if you want to do that. But the easiest way, and I'm going to say, I've never done this on mine, so as I do them, I learn better ways of doing it. The easiest way is before you upload your file, just put in what the file is. So if you've taken a picture of a ladybird, just go ladybird and then photo by your name, and that way we can give you the credit and give you a shout out to say who has taken the picture. And then in the picture itself, if you want to get extra credit, just put your website in there. Yeah. So people can go and visit your website.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you have a link directly to your gallery, so we can go straight there, you can do that too. That'd be great. I always like that because it's fun to be able to hang out with the community and talk with them. And
sometimes I like to pull up people's Instagram while I'm doing a critique as well. So I'll see a really good image. I'm like, I'll tell them, bang in your Instagram handle in the chat, and bang it in there, and I'll go and have a look at it there and then, and just have a look at their other pages.
I have to say,
because you can find some nice gems,
Oh no, absolutely. I'll throw up my Instagram on the screen right now, but I have just recently started doing the whole Instagram thing and posting onto there and whatnot. I haven't done it for ages, but I figured it would be a nice way to be able to communicate with you guys, and you can see more of the behind the scenes, anything that's going on with me. I think the latest image was kind of what a lot of times I'll do is I'll hand over permission for my wife to go and do this stuff because I usually don't have time to do it. So I'll give it to her and I'll be like, here, can you do something with this? And then she'll post stuff up there and whatever. The latest one that
I've made a decision in the last few days to actually change my Instagram into a behind the scenes feed rather than a gallery.
Oh, really?
Because if people want to see my best work, you can go to my website. Do you know what I mean? And I sat there and thought, this Instagram, for me, this is for me personally, is a bit of a waste. Because all I'm doing is posting the same stuff on there that I am on Facebook and on other places. So I thought it'd be, especially with the reels and that you can do on there, it'd be nice to do it as a behind the scenes things. So now if I go out and do a macro adventure, which I'm hoping to do very soon, I can just do a quick 30-second video. Hey, look where I am. I'm outside doing a video, and then post it to Instagram. I think it'd be way more interesting than looking at the same image.
Oh, absolutely,
on my
absolutely.
website and on Facebook and that. So I am going to have to start doing that.
Yeah, for sure. So check this out. This is what she posted. I think it was yesterday, and I'm like, where did she find this? So I don't know if you guys could you see that? Yeah. So
that's on Instagram, is it?
Yeah. So that's on Instagram. So that's my Yamaha R1. And then there's the other. Let me see if it focus. Does it focus? It does focus in on it. So I got it. Yeah, so we do. So for many years, I'd run with this stunt crew, and we would do like shows and exhibitions, with the bikes. We basically stunt, and so she just posted it up. So I got all these questions like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my bike. That's what I used to do every Sunday. We would do shows and stuff, and then if we weren't doing a show, we would go into a parking lot and work on Dragon and endos.
I've never ridden the motorbike,
all the rest of the stuff. Oh, really?
I've been on the back of one. That's about it. I'm too small. I literally, if you get honestly, if you get that bike there now, that one that's in your picture on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I would not physically be able to stand up with that bike. It'd just fall over. I'm too small. Can't reach the feet, the floor.
You think so? I don't know. Well, yeah, that's a 1000. So that's like that's a big bike. It's about, I don't know, 600 pounds or something. But the R1 or a 600, you can probably, it's a little bit more manageable. It's like lighter, a little bit more control. But I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of
I'm
fun
about
with
the same height as a 10-year-old. It's the advantage about having to build a studio. You can build it in such a way it makes you look like you're normal, whereas in fact you're not. You're a dwarf.
Yes, you're a dwarf. Yeah, I'm not that tall. I'm like, I don't know, 5'11" or something. So I'm not like a tall guy. I'm probably like 165 pounds or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So that's the kind of stuff that I think I'm going to share, like on the Instagram, like a little bit more behind the scenes of who I am, what I do, besides always the photography stuff, because people, they only see me as like the photography guy. I'm a DP, I'm a director of photography. I do episodic TV program stuff. I do, ad spots. I do, all of this kind of stuff. And of course, all the professional photography work and a lot of portraiture, but a lot of the more commercial stuff. So the commercial stuff is usually where the money is at. But I used to do a lot of high-end events. So I would do all of the, big gala events that would happen. And I'm in Palm Beach, so there's a lot. And I remember I used to cover, Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago over there for a lot of events. That was before he even became the president. This was like 12, 15 years ago. So I've been doing it for a long time. So that's what people know me for, but they don't know all the rest of the stuff that I do on the side, So I figured that'd be kind of cool for the Instagram to be able to put, more of a behind the scenes of who I am on there in comparison to just sharing photos, which, I
think it's way more interesting as well, particularly if you got followers that are photographers themselves.
Right.
They can appreciate your images, but at the same time, they also like to see how it was taken as well.
Yeah. The behind the scenes or something, Let me see here. What does Thomas put here? Let me see. Let me copy paste this in here as a new message. I actually have a question for you all. It says, what online image storage sharing sites do you all use for your photography? All right. This is hard.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Storage and sharing.
Right. So
storage, I don't do any online storage of my images. I don't trust people. Sharing, I'll go. If it's a half decent picture, okay, then obviously I'll go Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and 500px.
So
I don't use
those
Flickr.
Those are all good. I like 500px. I like them. I like them a lot. But bear in mind, Thomas, once you stick it out there, just consider the photo stolen. That's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care
I
what
don't
you
even
do.
bother watermarking mine no more. I'm just like,
It-
if I've got a really killer image, I don't want someone to pinch.
don't
Don't
put
put
it
it online. It's simple as
Yeah,
that.
don't put it online, because even if you
Or
watermark
put
it,
it in
people
such a low resolution that there's nothing they can do with it. You know?
right, really
You got to
small.
remember, right? You got to remember, a lot of these people are viewing the pictures on their phone,
Right.
and I commented on this when I did my last live. I think it was my last live. When I'm sorting through my pictures, I got two categories. I got print or social media, and the social media image can get away with a slightly missed focus because you're viewing it on a smaller screen and it looks
Right.
great. It looks great, but second you blow it up for a print, it looks awful.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So my suggestion
yeah.
is don't export at 300 ppi unless you want to go to press with it. If you just simply want to share it online, you export all the time, 72 ppi, and that is it. This way that if someone takes it and they want to go and print it, they're getting 72 ppi instead of 300. So they would have to quadruple the size, thereabouts, okay, to be able to print it. And at that point, it's going to look like trash anyways. So keep it small, keep it under, let's say 1920 by, 1080 or something like that. Keep it small, something that's a good size to be viewed on the phone at best. And as soon as you start, pinching in, it should start breaking down. If you pinch in and it still is clear when they're pinched in a lot, you're probably too big. You don't need it that big. But definitely nothing at 300 ppi, everything 72, and you're pretty much safe. Harry says here, let me see. I threw Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram away, so the old-fashioned website is still worthy. So he's no longer posting onto any of these social sites, and he's posting on his website, and I guess he's sending people there to view his images. That works out really good. But remember, it's all about getting people to see your work if you're trying to sell it. And if it's only on your website, well, then only certain people are going to see it. So it just depends on your use case. What are you going to do with it? What are you doing with it? Let me see here. CC Photography, Stewart, vertically challenged. That's funny. Thomas says, I guess you should start calling Stewart's to me.
On the same height that CC is wide. Okay.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Oh no, you went there. Come on now.
Yeah, of course I went there.
That's funny. Oh my God, you guys. So anyway, so like I said, when it comes to, photographic anything for the web, be careful when you put it out there. Watermark it if you want to. If it's something that you want to sell one day, don't put it out there unless that it's locked down in some way. The other thing is
I found a bunch of my images turned up on notepads being sold on Amazon.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then try to sue them for it. See how much money it takes to do it. It's rough.
In the end, I was like, forget it, because it's going to cost me that much money to take them down compared to how much they've actually made, which is probably zilch.
Yeah, and they
It's
made
just not worth it,
they didn't make enough to make it worth it. The other side of that that Thomas was asking about was, you have the sharing side and you have the storage side. The storage side of it, I am a proponent, and that's why I'm writing this book about building your own digital Fort Knox. I am a proponent of keeping your important data close at hand, okay? I think that it is imperative that you have a good, high-quality archival in quotes, big, bold letters, archival means of keeping your important data local to you. So that at any time you have access to it. Now, of course, you have to do the 3-2-1 type of backup principle. We're not going to get into all that. But the bottom line is having like an unraid server is really useful in comparison to having stacks and stacks of these little drives, right? That you don't know what year, what month, and you're labeling stuff and you can't find images. Having like that unraid server that I'm going to tell you guys how to build out of old parts or out of new, however you want to do it in this book, it gives you a means to archive them. It's safe. And it has the side thing to it is that you can search for anything that's on there, and it literally takes a few moments to be able to find something from 10 years ago. So it's very, very important to do that. A lot of people, they will go and they'll upload all of their crap into the web, onto the cloud, let's say, and then all of a sudden it starts raining and, all of your data is lost. Canon has lost so many images and so many videos. Yeah. Google has lost so much data you don't even know because you never hear about it. There's all of these companies that are cloud-based storage. If you look at their TOS, their terms of service, all of it says that if we lose your stuff, you're shit out of luck. Okay, that's literally in small print. Mm-hmm. You are shit out of luck, like literally.
There's also, I can't remember the company, but when we found this out, there was a bit of a shitstorm on social media where they had it in small print that anything stored on their servers, they own the copyright to.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember that one?
Yeah. Who was that?
I can't remember who it was. But can I expand on this just a little bit as well?
Yeah, go.
Because I put out a video. I've got my build logs that are going out about the new computer, about halfway through at the moment. And I think it's the second one where I'm talking about prepping the old machine and backing up the data. And I mentioned something in there that a lot of people didn't realise. And what I do is I've got my local backups. I also have a backup that I keep off-site. I keep it somewhere else. Because if someone breaks into your house and they're intention on nicking off with your cameras and your PC, they're going to pinch your hard drives as well. And another one, which could be disastrous for you, is if your house sets on fire, your backups are going to burn as well. So I always keep, it's usually every 6 months, I do a backup onto a new external hard drive, just the most important stuff. You don't need everything on there, I don't need raw video on there, for instance, but just the important stuff. And then I take that and I keep it at a relative's house, so that if heavens forbid, I do get burgled or the house burns down, I've got a backup of the most important stuff that hasn't been burned to death.
Absolutely. And
that's just another form of backup that I do keep.
So if people don't know what the 3-2-1 principle of backup is, basically you need 3 copies of your data. Any important data, you need 3 copies. You need to store it on 2 different types of storage media. Okay. And then 1 you need off-site. So once again, you need 3 backups. Okay. You need 2 different storage types or 2 different storage media. Maybe you'll have spinning media and then solid state media. So maybe you'll have a hard drive and then you'll have solid state or whatever. So you have to have different media, and then you have to have, of course, 1 archival off-site, like Stewart said, in case of a fire or something like that. So, it's important. And you know what? I think it would be awesome that you have that slow potato there that you just upgraded. I send you over a copy. You can take a look at it, and maybe, just maybe, you can build that into one of these RAID arrays, and then you would actually have, what I have here, something that's sitting with like 30, 40 terabytes of available storage that is 100% safe. And even if you lost a drive, you could even lose 2 drives, you still will never lose anything, because of the way that it's designed. So it's something that you can do with these old computers, and people don't realize it. And in this book, I actually do a build based on parts that I got out of the garage. Some of them are 10 years old, and I built this thing, and it's been running for a year now, flawlessly, and with next to nothing, very, very cheaply. All of them.
Let's just say, with that, if the motherboard goes pop, do you lose data?
No.
Because that's the important part. Because
if
the motherboard goes down and you can replace the motherboard and still have the data, then that's a solid solution, isn't it?
So the entire OS sits on a key.
Yeah.
You take that key and you stick it into the next PC, and you put in your drives, and you're off and running again. Really, really a great system, a really, really good system. Once you see it, you'll see what I'm talking about with it. But it is just powerful, and the thing is you need nothing. You literally can use an old machine with no problem at all. So, anyways, Yeah, the digital Fort Knox, backing up your digital life. That's basically what it's going to be all about.
You got an ETA on that?
I'm looking at next week.
Right.
You know what? There's only a couple of people here, I think, watching. What? I don't know, what is it, about 20 or let me see how many people. Yeah, about 20 people on here. I'm going to just pop this up real quick. This is not finished. Let me go ahead and this is over here. You see that? So this is just so you get an idea of what this is going to look like. I'm just kind of scrolling through it a little bit. People can stop through it. It has not been proofed through, but you can just see the table of contents, how extensive it is here. And then it goes through this entire discussion, a whole prologue of, or a whole basis of what is going on in here. And it is currently about 70, I would think, pages long, or 80 pages, somewhere around there. So it is a lot. So that was like a quick little, you shouldn't have seen beginning of the book. But it is what I did differently is I gave people a step-by-step at creating it based on the old, let's say, components that I'm using. But the difference is I told them why each individual component is being used, so that later in 5 years or in 10 years from now, this information is evergreen. You can go and grab this book literally in 10 years, read it, and literally get as much out of it in 10 years as you will when I publish it. So that was my goal, and it's not easy, and that's what's been taking me a long time, because I'm having to describe and give an understanding of every single component, so that in 5 years, when the stuff that obviously is now outdated, you can do the exact same thing. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm pleased the way it's coming out, and I hope that it helps a lot of people. Because there's too many people that have said to me, I have piles of these external hard drives, piles and piles of these external hard drives, and I can't find crap anymore. I'll write like a date on it, and then it's like, I just, I'm plugging them in, and it's a mess. And the other side note to that was, and I think a lot of you guys will understand this, is if you have ever used a RAID array, doesn't matter who it is, I don't want to give brands because, I don't want to, crap on anybody, but it doesn't matter what RAID array. If you do a RAID 5, for example, if 2 hard drives go bad, you lose everything. Let me repeat that. If 2 hard drives go bad, you lose everything. So if you have a RAID array and you bought this unit from company X, and 1 hard drive goes bad, and it sends you a message saying, hey, drive 4 needs to be replaced soon because, we're currently in a state of emergency. If another drive goes, you lose everything. Well, this has happened to me, whereas I didn't catch that note, and 2 days later, another hard drive went bad. And people will be like, how is that possible? Most of the time, people
bought them all in the same batch, didn't you?
Hell yes. See, you get
I was about to say to add to it, buy your hard drives from different places and different batches, because if you buy them all at the same batch and you get a bad batch.
110%, 110%. I'm glad that you got it. And that's exactly the way it is, guys. So 2 drives going bad is not, it happens. So if I was using an unraid server, like what I'm teaching people to make, what would have happened was the 2 drives that went bad, I would have lost everything. But the other 3 drives, I would still have all the data. I wouldn't have lost any of that. So that is the difference between using a RAID array and an unRAID array, let's say. Let's just call it. And to me, that is very powerful for archival use, because I don't need a RAID array to, let's say, speed up read and write process. I need a RAID array to hold all of my crap and do it in such a way that it's secure, I won't lose any, and then I have access to it 24/7, 365 days a year. I had that RAID array running until recently, when I actually did an upgrade on the OS. For 187 days was the uptime. Never down. 187 days. No rebooting, no garbage. It just simply works. So anyway, so that's basically what, what we're doing with that. So hopefully, people will get some use out of it. I'm excited about it. And like I said, maybe it's something that you can do with your, with your old system, your potato, as it's called.
Maybe. We're still favouring the whole turning it into a tarantula enclosure idea.
Or a fish tank, right? Make it into a fish tank.
Yeah, or growing potatoes.
That's right. So anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. As I always say, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Stewart's channel, subscribe to his Discord, subscribe to my Discord, give the video a like. And most importantly, what I normally don't say, which I really should start saying, is share it with your friends, family, relatives, colleagues, people that would be interested in photography, banter, videography, or even tech type of discussions, because that's what we do here. It doesn't matter if it's on
ground men moan and cry about a camera company.
That too. That's some fun times too. So
number one on the hit list. Number one on the hit list is Panasonic, and number two is Tamron.
Yeah, that's right. And I love Tamron. I don't have an affinity for Panasonic, but I do use them weekly. But I use an EVA 1 and some other Panasonic higher end, video gear. But we're pulling all of our focus obviously on set, so it's not like it's not like what we're doing here. So, anyways, thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate each and every one of you for coming. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend. Many blessings to all of you. And thank you, Stewart, for being here once again.
Thanks for having me.
And the next time we're going to be
very shortly.
Yes, the next time we're going to be over there on Stewart's channel. It will be on a Thursday.
I've learned how to do it.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it all works out. So, anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.
See you later.